Guys, welcome back. I have a real treat for you today. We're going to check in real quick with Chronically Stephanie. If you remember from our very last video, she was going to be meeting with the plastic surgeon. She wanted to get I guess, a boob job and a tummy tuck, right, to get rid of some loose skin. Great, absolutely fine, no problem. Let's see where she's at now.
Hey guys, good morning. It is the morning of my still rhinoplasty, and I am just getting ready to head out to the surgery center. So I will be back. Bye. Hey guys, I'm here at the surgery center waiting to be called back by the nurses to start getting ready for my operation. This is happening soon. Hello again. I am back. I've got my IV and I'm waiting for the nurse anesthetist. Now I am anxious, ready to get going. Yeah, I've got Mark with me here. And we're
I apologize for stopping it, but I want you to know something. When I look at Stephanie and when I've looked at her all these videos, right? She gets the surgery done for the weight loss. Okay, we can't stop that. That already happened, right? She goes and gets Botox for the wrinkles left over because of all the weight she's lost in her face. Okay, that's understandable. She gets a boob job because now her boobs have changed, right? She gets the tummy tuck to get rid of the loose skin. I think we can all give her a pass for all of those things. But never once did I look at this girl's nose and think, that is just too big. What an ugly nose. Did you guys? I never did. It looks like Darth Vader, just like everybody else's nose, right? I never, ever thought there's anything wrong with it. Guys, she's getting a nose job. Don't you wish we could reach back into the past and say, don't do it?
just waiting for me to go back. So I'll see you later after surgery. Hey guys, surgery was a success. I have minimal pain and I'm feeling okay. I can't wait to see what I look like, but everything is good. So I will update more later. Bye. Hey guys, I am now home from surgery. They're having my septoplasty / rhinoplasty done. I'm feeling actually pretty good. This is the best I have felt after a surgery so far, so that leaves me pretty hopeful. This I'm wearing just to keep some gauze under my nose because it's drippy, and I'm allergic to tape, so well, not allergic, I'm just really sensitive to it, so I'm using this to keep it against my nose. Up here though, I did have to take my glasses so they could stay on without resting on my nose. That's just something I'm gonna have to do. Otherwise I'm feeling pretty good, and doctor said everything went well and that I should be very happy with my nose. So I'm excited. I have to say I'm more nervous now than I was going in this morning because now it's done and I don't know what it looks like. And, I think there's always that little fear like, what if I hate it? So I don't know, but I just wanted to give you a quick update. I will update every day as the days go on, probably for a week, and let you know how I'm healing up. So thanks for watching. Bye. So it's about 6 hours after my surgery, and as you can see, I am starting to get the blood.
I'm worried about her ears. Don't those things look like they hurt her ears? Your ears are not supposed to bend like that for too long. Oh my God.
Guy. I was hoping that I'd avoid it, but I'm pretty sensitive, so I knew that probably wasn't going to happen, and that's okay. I'm in a lot of pain. My pain medication isn't really helping take the edge off, so I just called the on-call doctor, who happened to be my surgeon, and he gave me some good advice of just doubling up on my medication and to call him tomorrow. Um, I'm quite happy that it seems that I didn't get splints put in my nostrils, because I can breathe out of them. Well, I can breathe out of one of them really well, and I could breathe out of both when I came out. So that is awesome. I can show you a little bit of what's going on. If you don't like blood, turn off the video now, because there is some blood around my bottom of my nose. That's why I'm wearing this beautiful, beautiful thing. So here, you can turn off now. Okay. For those of you staying around, this is what we're working with now. So this is the side view, the kind of side view, front view.
Guys, I got to be honest with you. Once again, I thought her nose looked fine. But again, I think this is what happens to all of us when we start to even work out and look better. We start to think, ooh, our clothes are not stylish. I need new clothes. I need new shoes. I need a new car. I need a new nose. I need new eye contacts that show I have blue eyes instead of brown. I think we all have some hardcore mental problems in this country when it comes to, how we view ourselves and how critical we are of ourselves. If you agree with me that there was absolutely nothing wrong with her nose, please write that in the comments. And if there's no comments, I'll know that I was wrong and she's got a schnoz that needs work done. So with that being said, go grab your shoes immediately. Let's go for a walk. Good morning. Today we're going to take part in a B&E, not breaking and entering, boys and girls, bacon and eggs. Today we're going to treat ourselves to a walk, and we're going to be walking a little bit further than usual. Today I've decided to go to my favorite breakfast place, a little place called US Egg here about 2 miles from where I live. So my time per mile is usually about 20 minutes or so. So we're looking at a good, 45-minute walk to this place. So let's see how this walk goes. And I urge you to see if there's a breakfast place near you that you can walk to. And even if you think it's a little bit further than it should be, it's probably not. So we're capable of walking far distances. We're capable of doing it every day. And every day you should be getting a little bit better at it. So, yeah, Yeah, I walk every day, so I figure I'm going to start reaching out to YouTubers, see if I can get them to walk too. I see you walking all the time as well, so.
Well, I had cancer, and I found out that being obese was why I had cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're a cancer survivor?
Yeah, estrogen fuels.
Can I get you on camera here? That's awesome. My name's Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. I'm Stacy.
Stacy, hi. So Stacy here had cancer, and apparently you were obese, but you're tiny now. So how long have you been walking?
I was diagnosed at the end of 2021, and I started walking after my surgery in February of 2022. So that's 2 years now.
And look how great you're doing.
Yeah, I'm down 137
So let me ask you this. Is walking the easiest thing ever or what?
It really is. And you know what? You burn more calories walking than you do running, which I didn't know until I started my journey.
I'm so glad that we got a chance to meet. So I'm going to be putting this up on Walk Talk Vent. That's my YouTube channel.
All right.
But I haven't started yet, so you're seeing it brand new.
Okay.
It was nice meeting you. Have a good walk, okay?
Thank you.
Bye. So right there, ladies and gentlemen, when we're obese, even though we may not realize it, it puts us at risk for certain things. Now, we didn't really go into super detail, but, it's kind of interesting that the one person I'm seeing out today that's walking is walking for their life, literally. So it just goes to show you want to do special things like eat the foods that you want to eat. Walking might make that a little bit more doable for your body to handle, So really glad that I had a chance to meet her. Glad you guys had a chance to meet her. That was not on purpose, by the way. That happened just naturally. So that's kind of exciting. The one thing I've noticed just while talking to you guys because when I first started walking here, I've always been walking. But when I first started walking, I was encouraging you guys just to kind of walk slowly. And I didn't really realize it myself, but coming off my surgery, I was kind of naturally walking slow. Whereas now, I'm practically booking it, you know? So the reality is, not only can you walk to help prolong your life, but apparently you can walk to kind of save your life as well. So very nice meeting her. And hopefully, if some of you guys at home are dealing with some issues with your weight, maybe somebody like her can give you a little motivation on top of what I'm trying to accomplish, you know? Or, if I'm being sassy, Jesse, just one more story that'll go in one ear and out the other with you, huh? What is it with you and your ears? You need to have one where it's got a no going beyond this point zone, right? So I am going to be walking to the US Egg. If you guys have never been to the US Egg, I definitely recommend it. They do have healthy options like oatmeal and water to drink. But I think I'm going to treat myself with an iced tea. So with the iced tea, I can go with the pink stuff to make it taste sweet, right? But I actually think, for the sake of our channel and for the sake of my health, I think I'm going to go with the taste of iced tea just for the sake of having an iced tea. And it doesn't necessarily have to have any flavoring in it at all. And if I'm feeling cheap when I get there, I might decide just to go with water, you know? So really interesting. I almost feel like sometimes fate, or as I like to call it, God, puts us in these situations where all of a sudden we meet the other walker in the neighborhood. I've seen her about a half dozen times, and she's always walking at different times of the day. Sometimes her time will be the morning, sometimes it'll be the afternoon, but because I've only seen her a handful of times, the reality is she might be walking in the morning, midday, and afternoon. We like to call that extra credit here. If you're a first-time watcher and you're just joining me now, one of the things that I like to preach is extra credit. I want you to walk every single day, and if you walk every single day, there's nothing extra about that, because everybody walks every single day. But if you can take a morning walk before you go to work, and if you can combine that with an afternoon walk when you return from work, you're really ahead of the game. I mean, really ahead of the game. If, on the other hand, you can start walking before you go to work, walking after you go to work, walking the weekends, taking short trips that are walks to your grocery store daily rather than a car ride weekly, then you're super on top of the game. And when I saw that woman's body next to mine, keep in mind, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, that lady looked like she weighed about 115 pounds. Now, the reality is sometimes people hold their weight differently, and she might have been a little bit more, but when you look 115 pounds and you're walking, people are going to assume that you've always been a walker. So you can really fool people, you know? So just want to let you guys know that there's a reason fate brought me to that woman today. And I wish I was a little better as a cameraman, because I might have been able to get more of her than me on that interview, but I'll try to chop it up during editing and we'll see what we get out of it. The main thing I want you guys at home watching to know is that she found her why. She didn't walk out of a love for walking, but she's found something that I found, which is after you start walking, you end up loving and enjoying it. So another thing she probably found out is that she needed to walk to kind of save her life, you know? But notice she's walking alone. Now, I imagine her children, her family member, her significant other, I would imagine they are all wanting her to be healthy, wanting her to walk daily. And I'd be willing to guess that at first they probably even offered to walk with her. And throughout your life, you're going to have people that offer to walk with you as well. What you need to realize is that's not going to be consistent. What's going to be consistent is you putting on your shoes, getting your butt out the door, and going for your walk on your own. Okay? I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be here with you. I walk every day. I do a little extra credit walking every day. It's the key to losing 30 pounds in 90 days. And you're going to do this. I know sometimes I'm a little sarcastic. Sometimes I'm in a bummer mood, right? Sometimes it's not as fun to enjoy your walk while you're holding up a selfie stick and staring at a camera, because one of the things that I want you to enjoy about your walk is take note of your neighborhood. Some of your neighbors have gorgeous homes. Some of your neighbors might have an abundance of cats. Some of your neighbors might not have the most gorgeous of homes. But the moral of the story is, get out and enjoy your neighborhood. You didn't rent your apartment just for the apartment. You rented it for the complex and the amenities and your neighbors. You didn't buy the house in your neighborhood just so you could enjoy your home. You bought into the neighborhood. Be a part of that neighborhood. Walk the neighborhood. Your walking the neighborhood might lead to a situation where you meet somebody that might end up being your walking partner. Because I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to find somebody to walk with you when they're a natural walker themselves, you know? Now, also keep in mind that because there's a mental health aspect to walking, because it can help you solve problems or at least come up with potential solutions to your problems, sometimes people really need to take a solo walk by themselves. Hi! 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 Remember, might be nice to have some pepper spray just in case a dog ever jumps out of a car and tries to attack you, you know? So, as crazy as it sounds, that might have been my friend Jeff, who the other day I said there was an ambulance at his house. I say might because for some reason I couldn't quite see into his windows other than that dog. But that dog looks a lot like the dog that Jeff owns. Jeff, for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, is a friend of mine in the neighborhood. I would see him and his dogs taking walks. The last time I walked by his house, however, there was an ambulance there, or not an ambulance, but a fire truck. A couple days later, I walked by his home again, and what I saw was a medical supplies store with oxygen. So I have a feeling he might be having some trouble with breathing, and he might be having some major health issues. I'm not a friend of his outside of just the occasional hi, how you doing, during the walk. But when I see him at the grocery store, he always says, hi, Jesse. I always say, hi, Jeff. And so I do consider him to be a friend. What's sad about this is that maybe I could have helped him stay away from needing things like an oxygen machine if I would have just extended my friendship a little further and said, hey, Jeff, instead of us saying hi to each other occasionally in the neighborhood, what time do you like to go on a walk? I'll meet you and let's go on a walk together. But again, going back to what I said a moment ago, I'm one of these guys that a lot of times I do kind of want to work on myself and my own mentality and mental issues. Not that I have any mental issues, but I do have things that anger me in this world. I'm sure you do too. I have things that get me down in this world. I'm sure everybody has that. And sometimes I really just need to kind of work on problems by myself. So I am one of these people that really enjoys walking alone. That person that we met earlier, she might really enjoy walking by herself as well. So that's where we stand. And, that's just where we stand. So very interesting. So I want you to imagine that you have a Mimi's Cafe in your neighborhood, or maybe a First Watch, or heck, maybe you're like me and you lucked out and you have a US Egg, right? And for the rest of us, there's probably a Denny's somewhere, right? But I want you to think about this. What if every single time you had eaten at one of those places your whole life, your whole adult life, what if you had walked for about 20 minutes before you actually ate? You would have been able to kill a lot of the calories from any of those meals. Now, some of us have cholesterol issues, right? And some of us have high blood pressure. Some of us have other issues that we're dealing with physically. So I'm not poo-pooing that some people, regardless of how much they walk, regardless of this, that, and the other, they might still be afflicted with some of these pre-existing conditions. You cannot make certain things disappear, but at the same time, we can stave certain conditions off. We can delay those certain conditions. It's all just a question of how early can we get into the walking game. So if you're a teenager, 17, 18, 19, you're just getting out of high school, and maybe you haven't enrolled in college yet, and you notice that you're doing a lot of sitting around the house, it might be a very excellent time to go ahead, get off the couch, put on your walking shoes, get outside, and start walking. Even if you're not dealing with any mental health issues or any problems, so to speak, you can still strategize and plan for your future. If you don't want to get a ton of student loans, maybe you don't start off your freshman year at the university. Maybe you look more at the community college level. And if you're in community college, maybe go talk to one of the guidance counselors. Let them know about a handful of career moves that you'd like to potentially contemplate, and see if they can help you set up your schedule for success. The key is you want to take a lot of your classes that you are able to take for your major at the community college level. That way, in a couple of years, when you transfer to the state university, the transition is smooth. You also want to be wary that you don't get one of these degrees in an industry that really doesn't exist, If you want to do something on religious studies, that's wonderful, right? To learn where every other person of faith is maybe coming from, but it won't necessarily help you land a job. If you want to do elementary teacher studies, right? Teacher education type roles, just know that we're living in a world where teachers tend to be underpaid. So in addition to being a teacher, you might be flooded with a life of, having to wait for certain things before you're able to buy them, right? If you have a job in business where you look to make six figures, just know that most of the time to make six figures, you have to actually earn six figures. And there's a lot of hard work in that. The reason I say that is sometimes we look at the boss in a place where we work, and we see how he or she is pulling in the big bucks while we, the employees, are not. But yet we're doing all the work, right? Well, that's only what we see with our eyes. We don't see what happens behind closed doors when the boss has to meet with the lawyer to take care of a legal issue, because you don't want to deal with that as an employee. That's why you're an employee. We also don't see when the boss has to deal with other companies pirating his employees. They come and they steal his employees by offering them an extra 50 cents or an extra $1.50 an hour. And before you know it, you're having to replace employees. We also don't see when the people make complaints and go to the Better Business Bureau or the state's attorney general office about your company. The boss has to take care of those things. And you can ask him or her every single one of those things that you have to take care of, whether legally or not, equal a drain of money out of your pocket. And despite what anybody thinks, if you're wishing and hoping for your boss to see failure in life, then you're ultimately wishing and hoping for you to experience failure in life. Because if you enjoy your job and if you want to make more money, then you should be hoping for your success of your company and success of your employer. And another thing, if you have a good relationship with your boss, that is a good thing. That is not a bad thing. Sometimes we think that, well, if I'm the teacher's pet to my boss, then I'm going to lose friendship and none of my coworkers are going to like me. You don't need friendship and coworkers to like you that much, okay? The reality is, when your coworkers get a better offer, do you think they're going to care about ditching you to go to their new job? Nope. And when 90% of people move from one job to another, they usually end up stopping communication with you altogether. So here's the thing. When you're working at your job, your boss might be the only person there with you after an extended number of years. So of course it makes sense to befriend your boss. When you're a legit friend with your employer, you also have a situation where if anything does happen in the future, like a medical issue where you have to miss extended time from work, he or she is going to be more understandable because they're going to know that you're not trying to screw them. Now, on the flip side, from the boss's point of view, if you're watching this video, you know as well as I do, it's not too great of an idea to be too friendly with your employees, because that's when people are apt to take advantage of you. So what you have to do as the boss is find those people that genuinely want a relationship with you, not because they want to take advantage of that relationship, but because they realize that long term, your success kind of equates to their success. And if you legit do have a good employee, treat them nicely. Treat them nicely. Because we already know there are crappy employees out there, and you don't want anything to do with them. A crappy employee can help you lose your business real quick. You need employees that are looking out for the company, whether you're around or not. And if you don't have that, you're going to be putting in a lot of 100-hour weeks, which is another reason that employees, if you're listening to this, you should not hate your boss. When was the last time you put in a 60, an 80, or a 100-hour week and didn't cry and moan for overtime? Your boss doesn't get that. When was the last time you were in a situation where you worked 1, 2, maybe even 3 years before you saw $1 of profit? Your boss has to deal with that. Have you ever heard the saying that 95% of businesses fail? Well, that means 95% of the bosses that you've ever worked with, their companies ultimately failed. So that's something that you have to think about as well. Now, if 95% of companies fail, that means that if you're ever the boss, you're going to have to deal with a landmine of issues that could equate to you being out of your job forever, and your job would be self-employment, right? As a matter of fact, if you really want a business to succeed, many will say just be your own employee, right? If you're a pool service guy, be your own pool service guy. If you're a insecticide guy helping people with pest control, just be your own employee, right? But the reality is, if you're your own employee and you never grow, then you're going to be working yourself into the ground. You're going to be doing 40 to 80 hours for the rest of your life. And the goal is to find employees and to delegate authority to your supervisors and managers so that you can be a success. So, believe it or not, I've already walked, when I get up to the street light here, about 1 mile. God, it's impressive to walk 1 mile like that. If I go another mile, I'll be to my eating destination. So again, we're not talking about impossible things to do here. We're not talking about never enjoying a breakfast. And believe me, when I go and have this breakfast, I'm going to enjoy myself because I literally earned it, right? And when I mean earn it, I mean calorically speaking. We have to find a way to shrink our stomachs. And most people have this weird rule where they don't want to leave the house until after they've had their breakfast. You don't need to eat all the time. Sometimes you can make do with 2 meals in the day. Sometimes you can fight the urge to snack, right? And I'm telling you, if you're walking with me and you're doing all the right things, but you're still waking up and having a midnight snack, you're really doing yourself a disservice. You have to wean yourself off that. So if that's something you're addicted to and you're doing it every single day, cut it out on the weekends. Get it down to 5 days out of 7. Then cut it to every other day during the week. Now you're down to 2 or 3 days out of a whole week where you're having a midnight snack. And then a couple weeks after that, just cut it out entirely. Look, you don't want that snack as much as you think. It just has weird triggers on your brain. Something about the Oreo cookie, right? You see that dark Oreo cookie with that white cream in the middle, and it makes you want to bite into it. I love Oreos. Everybody does. We grew up loving Oreos. It's in our blood. But it doesn't mean that you have to be weak and take it, you know? So one of the problems that I've been having with Arizona is that, and I've been complaining about this for the past couple walks, is when you step out of your house, it's so warm, it's so cold that you need a jacket. And about 15, 20 minutes later, it's really starting to warm up. And it gets to the point where you wish you would have left your jacket at home. I might be wrapping this jacket around my waist. And that might just be how I have to handle this. So we'll see. I don't like when the jacket starts to warm up my arms, because my arms start to like sweat. And the last thing you want is a jacket that, I don't even think I can throw something like this in the wash, but I'm sure after a couple of months, a jacket like this could really accumulate some sweaty smells. So, you know, keep that in mind as you're walking. As it gets warmer, maybe delay 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe go outside without the jacket, see if you can handle it. And if you can, maybe go without a jacket. For Arizonans, right? If you're a Buffalo, New Yorker, you're probably thinking this is warm weather, this is summer weather. But for me in Arizona, this is cool weather. So if I wasn't walking and building up a little bit of a sweat, the weather would probably be perfect for a little windbreaker like I'm wearing now. Puffer jacket. This is not a thick puffer jacket, even though it looks like it. It's a very thin puffer jacket. I had to retire, for the season at least, my white coat and my green bomber jacket, because those are better for me when the weather dips into the 40s. Right now, guys, I'm trying to do a show here. Right now the weather's in the mid-50s, so again, if I was outside just standing, this coat would be perfect. But as you're walking, it's like, oh my God, it literally feels about 80 degrees. So, and I picked a really dumb place to put my microphone today. Even strategically with that, usually with every road that you walk, there's a sunny side of the road and a shady side, at least if you're going north and south. So If it's warm, don't complain, don't quit. Just cross the street into the shady side. Wear a jacket that you can take off and tie around your waist, because I can definitely do that with this jacket. But I'm going to see if I can make it the final 10 minutes to our destination. Now I want you to think about something. This walk from where my home is to where the place is located is about 2 miles. Now, how many of you would have, especially at the beginning of this YouTube channel, how many of you guys would have said 2 miles? No, I'm not doing that. Because a 2 mile there and 2 miles back, do the math, that's 4 miles. Most people do not want anything to do with a 4 mile walk. And I am not advocating you start with a 4 mile walk by any means, but I do stuff like this pretty regularly. So again, doesn't really bother me at all, but it can be deceiving. If I had a blister on my foot, which some of you will start to form calluses and blisters, if that happens and you're literally in pain, don't walk 2 miles a day, okay? I know we have this saying, no pain, no gain, but the reality is, it's no fun, okay? And keep in mind, that's why we have the water rule, and that's why we have the no sugar rule, so that if anything ever does happen, and you sprain an ankle, or you got the flu, or a myriad of other reasons why walking might be really difficult, you still have the no sugar and the drinking water to fall back on until you're able to walk again. If your game plan is to walk, get in shape, and then be able to jog, I think that's a great game plan. But just know that yours truly, I've never been a jogger, so if your plan is to jog once upon a time in the future, well, once upon a time, I'm going to just disagree with that. So I'm not against it for you. I think it's great, but I know that it can do a lot of damage to your ankles, knees, and hips as you get older. And the reason I said that is because, as you can see there, we've got a young person jogging. Their body looked young. They could be in their 30s or 40s for all I know. And by the way, if you're enjoying a walk with me, maybe down in the comments, maybe you can share your age. Because if we have people walking of different ages and they share that with the community here in the comment section, maybe, just maybe, it'll help somebody else in that age group decide to walk. For example, I'd imagine there's probably a lot of people in the 30 to 50 age bracket that are probably hip to what I'm doing and wouldn't mind walking. Well, that's great, but there's also kids that are 18, 19, and 20 that it would really do them wonders to start a walking routine.